All right, if you want to see an INTJ, this is an INTJ, and the goddamn INTJs, they always have a scam. They're really good at whatever it is they do at the expense of everything normal. This guy's name is John. He's double masculine, blast sleep, so kind of the Tim Ferriss Atomic Habits type guy. You know, where we see this kind of look, you know, big, muscular, bald, smart, slow talking, introverted, the same kind of archetype, right? So here he is when he's younger. You know, you got to have the INTJ weirdo, a douchebag kind of thing. The double masculines we see, and you'll see this in Tim Ferriss, they do tend to have more muscle than the double feminines or the audios or the visuals. We do see wherever the double masculines lay, whatever type you are, like they tend to be more athletic, muscular, or clustering so. So he's gotten older. He's a little bit more mellowed out. He's highly respected in the field of jiu-jitsu because that's all he does. He's also DE. He's blast sleep, not sleep blast. So he wants to train and lift up others. It's good to know what the INTJs can do because it's like there's so many areas that normal people need to apply that in their own life. Like, hey, blast sleep, go over the same thing. Like, do turn off the fucking videos, turn off the books for a minute. Like, that's what the INTJs need to do. You don't need to do that. And start going over the same shit until you get it. Oh, these fucking pictures are fucking funny. Now the guy is technically an extrovert, even though he's going to come across very introverted. So just like with the bell curve, he's going to be the most introverted extrovert. Now he's going to be defined as an extrovert, not by how do you talk, right? Because maybe you're very talky and you're an introvert, like Jamie Foxx, right? Jamie Foxx is technically an introvert, very extroverted, very out loud. So most of the time, extroverts are going to be talky, introverts are going to be mumbly. But sometimes when you get those ones in the middle, like the consume, play, sleeps, or the blast, sleep, plays, you're going to get that ambivert, you're going to get a switcheroo. So it's defined by John, when he has problems, he's going to go outward. He's going to be like, I'm stressed, let me just go to the gym. I'm stressed, let me get a bunch of guys together and let's wrestle, right? It's not going to be, I'm stressed, let me go into my inner world, let me process, let me read, let me research, let me go on vacation, let me take something for... He's not going to do that when he's stressed, and that's what we're defining by introvert, extrovert. All right, so his official type, double masculine, NITE. So what's interesting about this guy, very similar to me as far as like the double activated feminine NI. So he's going to have that wiggly NI where it's just kind of like, yeah, I kind of, it just feels like a intuition with water, where it's like, I'm gonna watch where the hard sensory is. So with martial arts, it's going to be really good because it's like, okay, you have a lot of combative, you have a lot of non-movable forces, you know, dealing with other people. So where's the wiggle room? How can I trap this person? How can I trick this person? And I'm not even making any sense because I'm talking abstract about abstract. And then double activated TE, same with me, but his T is going to be masculine. So this is going to be one hell of a, kind of a strong T here. So it's going to be punch on the tribe, push on the tribe, as well as like figure out the logic. I see this with this types, they're cousins of mine, is that the sharper logic. You can definitely see with my logic, it can like hang pretty good, but then once things get hard after about 20 minutes, I start dropping off pretty hard. And they'll just be like, oh, let's go logic, and they'll just go way up. And so like to be able to sit through and think through all of his moves and calculate, it's a chess player. Now he's going to have the same consume last as me, masculine SE at the bottom. That's where he's got like his physical brute force. I kind of wish I had some more of that. Like I wish I had a little bit more masculine, muscle frame. Now I'm just, peacocking, processing self, going in circles, wasting time, embarrassing myself. But I don't really.
The less training time you've got, the more the onus is on you to have a plan before you walk in the door.
Got a plan.
If you go in just saying, I'm going to roll around and see what happens, or I'll just follow what the instructor says, you'll get a certain amount out of each class, but it will never be what it could have been. Go in with a plan and enact it. Many people go in with a plan and don't follow it. Let's say, for example, we start with a program that goes like this. First, try to create the most honest assessment of yourself as a jiu-jitsu player. It's tough to make an honest assessment of yourself because you never actually get to see your game. So what I would recommend is to start by videotaping yourself in sparring with your peers.
That's fascinating because we don't even have that level of introspection, ability to reflect of what we actually look like in grappling.
Start with an assessment of yourself.
Okay, this is really good. So he's telling you the normal INTJ blast sleep or sleep blast thing of like, you have to have a plan. You have to have your DI. Don't worry. Don't make the instructors do it for you. Don't be a fucking DE idiot. You got to go and you got to do it yourself. And you got to have a plan. You got to work the plan, right? And you have to be responsible and be efficient. He's also doing just enough consume to be able to see himself. It's like, and videotape yourself. Which is like, you see something of this type, and you're like, okay, you're getting really, really good results. It's going to be saviors only, body type only, as well as, did you somehow do just enough of your demons to get this whole thing to work? Because if he didn't watch himself at all, If he's walking in and he's a fumbly fuck and he doesn't even know it because he's consumed last, then he's just going to be like most people, where you just savers only and just spin, you don't get anywhere. So he's bringing in just enough video footage. Let me actually watch myself.
Then make a program for yourself based around what you see as excellence. Look at the people in the sport who's in the area you want to work on, people who are renowned for skill in that area. If possible, narrow it down to people who have excellence in that area and their body type
I've heard this story
corresponds
before.
with your own. And then try to take lessons learned from observing the excellence in these elite athletes and bring elements of them into your game. Never try to bring an elite athlete's entire game to your game. That will create an inauthentic game on your part, which will always be a poor copy of what you're trying to watch. Rather, bring very specific areas and skills that you see and import them from different people until eventually you find something for yourself.
And he's talking about the principles. All right, so we've heard this story. Like, they're like, people aren't saying anything different. Like, this is the sleep, blast, sleep story. They all say it. They say it in some way, shape, or form. It's the same fucking story. Get this story down, and you can know it and see it here, because people that have the same parts or types, they'll say it slightly different, be like, oh, that's that story. So all he's saying is, I'm a double decider. I'm not afraid of people. So I'm going to go watch people, just like Neil deGrasse Tyson does, just like Dave Powers does, and goes, yeah. I'm not offended. I'm not fucking offended. I'm not offended and traumatized by watching the fucking tribe because I'm not a decider. So I'll just clear it away. People are things. Great. I'm watching people. I don't have drama alert on. And I see, okay, that guy's good at that. That guy's bad at that. And I don't have to over-process my fucking threatened ego as a double decider. Because I'm looking at them for the information. Because I'm a single observer. I can't get information in a normal way because I'm going to fuck that up because my S&N is all fucking out of whack. But I'll just watch the people. And then he's also saying, fucking careful with your goddamn consume, because you want to get good at something, you have to eliminate everything else, right? I feel like most people are on the consume play or play consume side. It does seem statistically that there's more skibs than there are douchebags, right? So it's like the skibs are just like, hey, if you have a problem, just gather more, just learn more, just research more. Like, yeah, I fucking heard it. We all know, and most people do that. Most people don't have that problem. Like, there's not a whole lot of people that are like, well, I don't like to read, I don't like to research, right? But if you're stuck, if you're this type, you're my type, it's like, hey, read, research, go out, extrovert. There's a canned answer for that. That it's for my type. It's like, I just don't want to do it, or I just didn't do it. But it's not like I don't know that story, right? I think a lot of people don't know the other coin. Like, they just you and all your friends are fucking skibs. So you're like, more videos, more research, more new, more everywhere, and everyone else is doing that too. It's like, hey, there's this whole other world that this guy's doing of like, narrow down. Watch a very limited source of data, probably just people that are good at it. So just cut to the end. Like, I don't want to know what book did this guy read to get there. Just show me the guy being the best. I'll just meet you at the end. I'm gonna watch a few of those guys and just steal the principles and just go over that more and more and just and that's the blast sleep game. They're all doing it.
The most powerful moments you'll have on the mat come from making discoveries for yourself, not being told what to do, not observing someone else doing something, but self-discoveries.
Sleep.
Those are the ones that will last inside you. So use video research not as the definitive answer to your problems, but as initiating research for yourself on the mat.
Right.
And as time goes by and you do this more and more often in more and more areas of the sport, I promise you, you'll improve.
Very true. Especially if you're doing the same goddamn thing over and over again, you will improve if you just stick with the same fucking thing, lock yourself in there, right? And get this feedback loop that works, right? In that particular area. Because all your savior functions, all your type, it's a broken clock twice a day or whatever. Like, your savior functions are going to be the most perfect thing in this one little sliver. So if you're double masculine fucking INTJ and you're just doing this little racket, like, oh man, that's perfect. Like, just keep doing that. And everybody should watch this guy and learn, okay, if you want to do this, do it this way. Now, as soon as he goes out to go shopping or whatever, you don't want to watch this guy because now his little savers don't have the answer over here. You want to go follow somebody else, right? This last clip is really funny because if you're seeing this type, you're like, okay, wow, you got all this amazing benefits of your double masculine, your INTJ, you got the blast sleep, you're overworking it. He's being very careful and precise with the consume. What's so funny is this next clip is Joe Rogan, and I believe the other guy to be Gordon. I believe him to be an ISTP. So you have these two double observers talking about John. Now they've been talking on the podcast about how amazing he is because these skib guys, these skib double observers are like, I don't know how this guy like is doing this weird little box IJ mastery, the INTJ skib. I don't know how they're doing it. They're mesmerized. But then the more they talk, they're like, yeah, but there's also something else he does. He's like way off when it comes to just getting normal shit, and they're going to laugh their ass off about the consume last.
There's no one like him. No one else does that.
And he doesn't do anything else in life. Like, he has an apartment now, and I'm like, hey, do you go like furniture shopping? You like get like plates and dishes? He's like, I have to do that. I'm like, we've been living here for a year, dude. I had to go to fucking Bed Bath & Beyond last week to pick him up plates, bowls, dishes, utensils.
What does he eat? Takeout?
So he fasts, and he just goes to Whole Foods at the end of the day and picks up Whole Foods, hits on chicks. And but he like doesn't have like I helped him move into his apartment. It's like no one's ever been in like any of John's apartments. So I helped him move into the apartment. So he's got like some furniture. He's got like a bed and like a couch and stuff. And he's like, I'm gonna need to put some furniture in here. I'm like, yeah, that's never gonna happen. But then I asked him, I'm like, do you have like cups and bowls and stuff? He's like, no. So I had to like go and buy him like all this shit. He like moves in. He's like, Gordon, what do you think about Wi-Fi? I'm like, what do you mean? What do I think about Wi-Fi? He goes, is it worth getting? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you want to like hook up your TV and watch like Netflix or something? He goes, I despise TV. I'm not gonna watch it. And I'm like, well, what if you have a chick over on a date and she wants to watch something on Netflix? He goes,
Try it.
good point. How much does it cost? And I'm like, I don't know, like $80 a month. He's like, okay, I'll consider it. And I'm like, all right.
He's like a character in a movie.